Well, the new Electricity Act of 2023 has prescribed tougher penalties for Nigerians who steal power, connect electricity illegally, tamper with metering equipment, or destroy facilities of operators in the value chain. The new law, which replaces the Electricity Power Reform Act of 2005, prescribes the conviction of a fine of not less than 3 times the amount calculated for the offense of, or at least 3 years imprisonment, or both. The law came as the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission this weekend reiterated timelines for resolution by customer complaints by the power distribution companies, that's the DISCOs. Arise analyst Dayo Sobowale joins us now to discuss this development and other measures needed to protect public infrastructure. Good afternoon, Mr. Sobowale. Thank you for being here. Great to have you.
Good afternoon. It's a pleasure of being here as usual.
Yes. Well, I'm just wondering how effective you think these new measures will be in curbing the issues, given the challenges faced when it comes to enforcing previous regulations.
Well, I think the new measures are high-handed, and they are anti-consumer. You see, even the NERC itself admitted that it has given a timeline for the DISCOs to put their house in order, that they have overbilled people over time, and that, you see, they should go back to the drawing board and reimburse those they have overbilled. They have not done that. Now, it's not as if they are bringing new rules into play. These rules were made last year. But now they are highlighting it after the new increase in tariffs that they brought about. There's something mischievous in that. But then let us look at the texture of the industry. The DISCOs are the people who bill customers. Now, the DISCOs distribute power. And we know the power we have now, generated and distributed, is about 1/10 of what we should have if you are working at optimal level. And that is there. You see, the industry is plagued with blatant inefficiency. You see, power is not being delivered. People are being overbilled. People are supposed to have been given meters, have not been given meters. The Electricity Regulation Commission laid out all the problems and met with the DISCOs and asked them to rectify the situation. They have not. Now the regulatory authority is now coming in to emphasize the penalty side of it. You see, what of the consumer side? What of the provision of services? The only same voice I see in the industry now, and you won't believe it, are the employees. The National Electricity Employees Union said that NEC should focus on service-related delivery instead of cost-effective tariffs. It makes simple common sense. And you see, you may think they are saying it from a personal level, but they are saying it from a patriotic angle too. That comparatively, countries that do the sort of things NRC is asking for now, I'm not saying people should vandalize or involve in thievery. The countries that do these things, they have infrastructure on the ground to deliver. That is why they know electricity is mass consumption, and they know use economies of scale to make sure that the prices are minimal for enjoyment. Even of recent, when Russia started this war and Europe lacked energy, they subsidized electricity for people. The EU, which is the fastest, greatest champion of the free market economy, is still subsidizing electricity, energy for Europeans. So why are we letting our electricity industry go adrift? Whereas without electricity, without power, you can't make any progress. You can't make any progress. That's a simple lot of it. And that is why my only green light, I mean, the silver lining I see, my champion in this is the National Electricity Employees Union. They have said the right thing.
But some will say, no, probably trying to re-echo your point. Some will say that this is very synonymous with this particular government, whereby time and time again, they expect the citizens to fulfill their own obligations in a contractual situation like this. And their own part of the obligation is always left hanging. And people will always say, because some have questioned that it's only in Nigeria that everybody wants subsidy on everything, from electricity to fuel and the rest of them. But some people are also saying that we don't ever even get optimal service, like you've rightly pointed out. But every single time, maybe some trying to please the president, probably twisting Nigerians to fulfill their own side of the bargain without the government coming to the table with their own side of the bargain. As they say, he who comes to equity must come with clean hands. Almost accusing the government of always coming to the table when it comes to issues like this with probably dirty hands.
So what's the question now?
So the question is, why do we have this? Why is the government why is the government's periscope towards the citizens this negative time and time again? Let's not even talk about the statement of the minister and all he said and the own goals he scored by making some very, very condescending statements.
See, this is the power sector. And that was why I deliberately ended my last discourse by saying, if you don't have power, we are finished economically. That's the long and short of it. The president knows that. That was why immediately he came in, he put this act into play. And I'm telling you, the way you feel is the way the National Assembly people, you know, they are on recess now.
Yes,
I think these people are praying a fast one on them because they are on recess. Once they come back, they know this is an anti-consumer directive. You get me? In the guise of protecting public property and thievery of electricity. It is anti-consumption. In fact, let me go further and say that it has criminalized electricity consumption. Because you look at it, go and look at people's reactions. You see that literally everybody will be sent to jail. Because when people don't have power, they have boys there who will fix it for them because they pay. And some people are built as if they have factories in their house. And when they go to the discos, they admit and say they will do something about it. They don't do anything. NEC asked them, saw that they were maltreating consumers and exploiting, and gave them a deadline to rectify the situation. They did not.
So hence, why make this move? Why make this move? If they know, if these people are also Nigerians,
that's right.
that also probably
I am as astounded as you.
Okay.
I won't say I'm angry, but I'm astounded because I know what is on the ground. I know what NEC has done. I know what government has done. You get me? It is a quagmire. We are in a self-made bad situation.
Indeed. Mr. Sobowale, you've made very profound statements saying this is high-handed, anti-consumer. They're not necessarily bringing new rules into play. And what was the quote about NERC, focusing on service delivery?
Yeah.
And of course, you also just mentioned now that there's something fishy, and that this was done because the assembly is on recess.
Yes.
So pending the resumption, is there a way to compel this to go in the direction that it needs to go, where it's no longer anti-consumer and it's supposed to be what we expect it to be?
That is why I think this discussion is public-spirited. They are watching this now. They should be able to react to that. But what I'm trying to, let me repeat it again. They are deliberately doing this because the National Assembly is in recess. The National, whether you like it or not, they are the representatives of Nigerians. And many times, this NERC has brought tariff to them, and they have always told them to go and put their house in order and deliver electricity before charging people. You get me? It's not as if we all don't know or they don't know the problem, but they are getting technical. Go and look at all the penalties. Go and look at all the penalties. They are made in good faith, but they are made to catch consumers.
Mr. Sobowale, if you don't mind, I would also like to, introduce the fact that the grid, there were reports that the grid collapsed at 2 a.m. today, and when you look at all this happening, paired with this,
you see, somebody read in the paper before coming here that you see this categorization they are doing, the ban, whatever, that these are issues done overseas. In Holland, Norway, where the infrastructure are in place. It is a welfare economy. You get me? We talk of subsidy. The welfare economy thrives on subsidies, making life easy economically for a citizen. That's why they put into power. But since we drifted towards this European Union, Bretton Woods, economic ideology of the market forces dictating everything, we've put ourselves, we have boxed ourselves into a corner. I say again, the president took the right decision when it made power a priority. We have a minister of power. Some people are accusing him of now being a mouthpiece of the discourse. The discourse, the reputation is in disarray because they don't deliver electricity. But then it's not the fault of the discourse again. If you don't generate electricity, what are you going to distribute? You get me now? The problems with the supply of gas to make electricity is there. So if you look at it, it's like we box ourselves into a corner. Yes.
My big question is this, looking at this from an area point of view, how difficult is it to have our electricity sector here in Nigeria functional? Or is it as mystical as having an oil refinery in Nigeria working? Because the question is, if we were to quote the former Minister of Power, they said at the time, of course he denied the statement, that it doesn't take, you should not take a rocket scientist to figure it out. In 6 months, you should be able to do that.
Your question has brought what I should have said earlier. Before. See, the National Assembly, sometime, see, when we are talking about these tariffs, you know, a speaker, a Nigerian, well-educated, asked his fellow people that what will the sellers of generators, what will they eat if NEPA is functioning optimally? You answer that. You can see from that some people don't understand the problem. Like, can I repeat the question to you?
Please do.
That what will the generator sellers, we use generators because there is no light. Everybody, that's how people exist. So it's a big industry. That is, so that speaker asked, what will they eat if NEPA falls? So you can see that he does not see generator of electricity as something needed for our development. Do you get my point now?
Yes, I do.
If that is the level of thinking, although since that time, they called him to order. Since that time, I tell you, the National Assembly has always brought down any effort to increase tariffs. Since
it's not
they were always
enough.
What?
It is not good enough.
Well,
because we have African
wait.
countries that have 24 hours electricity supply.
That's
African
right.
countries,
That's right.
not European countries or in America.
This is Nigeria. You get me? We are about what we should, our potential, like the electricity workers put it there. We are what our capacity and what we really produce is about 1/10 of what we should have for the whole of Nigeria. So accept your own inadequacy. You cannot bring South Africa has more than us. Egypt has more than us. And then the other issue you raised on this, you mentioned the
former minister.
No, the oil industry.
Yes.
And our
refineries
not working. And it's the same thing. You see, it's a similar situation. The grids too are not working. So you are welcome to it.
Well, you've highlighted what needs to be mentioned, and hopefully, things go the way they're supposed to. Thank you so much, Horizons analyst Mr. Dayo Sobowale.